Hello, I'm FGXToycan. As you probably already know, I've been playing Minecraft Survival on this same world now almost every single day for 7.5 years in a row. And as you would probably imagine, after such a huge amount of time in one world, I know the naturally generated part of this, the seed, the natural generation, like the back of my hand. And just like the back of my hand, I found some amazing things there that I'd like to share with all of you if you'd like to get a seed which has some incredible things. So that is what I wanted to go through in today's video. I wanted to show you around my Let's Play world. I wanted to give you an insight as to all the different things that I found over the years, and even though some of the generation will be different because some of it hasn't existed in over 7 years, a lot of the stuff that I found more recently will still exist, and a lot of the things that I did find all those years back have been replaced by something better, and because of that, it's something I just have to share with you, which is why type in the seed everything and you'll get this seed right here. Yes, the seed really is everything for this world, and the amazing thing about the seed everything is it really is true to this day. This seed has everything you're ever going to need. So hello, I'm FGXToycan, and welcome back to Seed Sunday, the weekly series where I show you seeds that are particularly interesting and worth checking out in some way. And in today's video, I'm showing you the seed which is closest to my heart and one which is really so incredible and stays so true to the name, starting with the spawn, by the way, which I always mark with a beacon, as you probably know, but literally at the spawn, you have to just walk a few blocks to the west of it, you're gonna find yourself a village immediately, a plains village too, a pretty nicely sized plain village, and that is a really incredible thing to have at your spawn, because it's not just a plains biome with a plains village at spawn, which is nice, but happens in 1 in every 20, 30, 40 seeds anyway. It's not the most incredible thing by itself, but the fact that, as you might have already seen during that intro, we not only have a mountain over here, but we also have direct access to beehives, because sneakily hidden away just around the corner of the mountain is Minecraft's newest mob and newest naturally generated structure, the beehive. That's right, you can find a beehive and a village at the spawn, and this is kind of nice by itself, because obviously you get food, you get access to a nice building area, you get some free stuff in the form of the village, you get a mountain, which is always a great overlook to see all of that stuff, but the seed just gets better from there. By the way, one of the most incredible things that I find is true about Minecraft is that the more things change, the more they stay the same in some ways, and you can see how, just like it was literally 7.5 years ago with an entirely different world generation, there is a forest found right here with a small bit of flat ground in between, which leads to a mountain right next to it at the spawn, and the fact that that is true is pretty nutty, but again, there are parts of Minecraft that do change in ways that make them better, not just the same. One of those is the fact that we have a ravine right here, a pretty wacky ravine if you ask me, because it goes through the village very slightly. The horse enclosure right here has to go off it, and it also is wacky because it has these little grass blocks on them which are almost begging you to do a parkour across it. Fun fact, you can't actually make this parkour distance, but if you just add one extra block yourself, which is easy enough to do just like this, you can actually add a little parkour if you want to make it across this whole thing. That is probably a better place to make it rather than this. And yeah, I don't know, there's something intense about doing parkour over a giant sea of lava that is literally 40 blocks down, by the way, because fun fact, this ravine is one of those great deep ones which will take you right down to the right layer to mine diamonds if you want to start doing that immediately from the spawn. So yeah, not only is this great access to the village and everything else, but it's also an immediate way to get yourself some diamonds if you want to, as well as all the other ores that you can obviously get in a ravine because they're found so commonly, the irons, the coals, etc., even the lapis lazulis. But the great thing about this seed is that's just all the stuff found at spawn. That's all the stuff that has changed over the years, since I played in my world. Let me show you things that are going to be roughly the same as you found in my world. Right off we go past, by the way, this rather nice, lava pit, which is great for speedrunning. Right past we go past this tiger village, by the way, a second village close to spawn, and one of the slightly rarer ones at that. So two incredible things super close to spawn, which comes with a blacksmith, by the way. So incredible, finds like this. But the things in this seed I wanted to show you today are the things that really hit close to home, because they're the things that you can find if you go slightly further afield, because they're things I found in my Let's Play world that have blown my mind that you can find them whatsoever. So let's go a little bit in this direction, as in north, west, the kind of negative in both the X and the Z coordinates. And even though there's some pretty good finds here, such as like a pillager outpost, which is found right next to a village, we're not going to be mentioning just the, bog standard plains villages, which by the way, there's two near this pillager outpost as well. I want to mention the things that I found that made me go, wow, actually, that is some really interesting terrain. I could mention things like the jungle temple, which is found at the very edge of the jungle in this kind of jungle edge biome, making it very easy for you to clear down the trees around it and have just a open, facing jungle temple temple, a really fun project in my opinion, if you want to do that. But mostly it's when you go even further to the northwest than that, and you hit the Savanna biome again, somewhere around the -1500, -1500 axis. Because at this point, once you go over a Savanna hill biome, you're going to find a Savanna village. But it's not just any Savanna village, it's a Savanna village which is actually abandoned, so it's a zombie Savanna village, which is fun by itself, it's cool by itself. It's always fun to find these in the rarer village variants in my opinion, so if that's cool to you, then totally take advantage of this entire biome. But even if this wasn't something unique to you, and obviously everyone's going to find this at least somewhat interesting, there is also a ravine going through this village, which you might say, well, that happens all the time too, right? So I can't, at least in Seed Sunday. But then it's not only a ravine going through an abandoned village, something rare by itself, but there is an abandoned mineshaft under that. That's right, an abandoned mineshaft under an abandoned village. Does it get more perfect than this? Besides weird generation that leads to water coming down here. Literally, this is the first time I've been here, so that's a fun generation quirk. But does it get more perfect than that? I would say the answer is no. And by the way, get this isn't just an open, exposed way to get into an abandoned mineshaft, which is cool by itself. It's a lot of exposed entrances because these things correlate almost perfectly. That's right, abandoned village and abandoned mineshaft and ravine perfectly intersect to make... Also, there's zombie villagers in this place right here. One of them is pushing this minecart chest off there. I've never seen that just naturally happen, and yet it just happened right here. They almost pushed the diamond and the golden apple right off there onto the ground, which I think was pretty rude of that guy to do. But yeah, the fact that this is possible, the fact that all these rare things and chests and naturally generated things just overlap each other is amazing in my opinion. Also, look at this. There's even 2 bits of bread and a diamond in the same chest. Diamond sandwich. We can totally make that if we want to, as well as a name tag sandwich. This is something you can only find right here in something that is coincidentally pretty close to spawn, you know, only 1600 blocks in both directions for something so wacky on my Let's Play world. I found this incredible when I found it because on my Let's Play world, as I'll show you right now, when I found this village, it was actually half generated from previously and then half zombie village, so it's even rarer in that case, and this is something you can find yourself too, which is just incredible to me. And just in case this part of the world isn't cool enough for you by itself, which it totally should be, you've got too high standards if it's not, let me mention the fact that in this same area, you're going to find a huge desert where you're going to see a desert temple right near an iceberg biome. That's right, icebergs and a desert temple this close together, and I feel like the desert temple by itself is a cool enough placement. This is something we used to love back in the day, where a desert temple was mostly over water. This one's like 50-ish% over water. Cool to look at, cool to see, but there's a desert temple right near this huge iceberg biome which generates right here in the desert. Not the rarest individual thing in the world. I wouldn't say this is notable in the biggest way by itself, but everyone loves to see a bit of global warming, and when that's next to all your other rare stuff, that's kind of fun. But there's also a second village found over here, right next to your abandoned Savanna village, just over there with the abandoned mineshaft below it. We've got ourselves a regular Savanna village just over here, which of course is a great source of melons and all the other things that you're going to want. So that's wonderful by itself. But what if I said that 2 villages and a desert temple and the iceberg all this close together? They weren't the only rare things about this, because if we go back to that abandoned village, that's right, this abandoned village, which by the way generates across 2 biomes, so you get 2 types of abandoned villager in it. I guess zombie villager. Abandoned villager is a cooler name though, right? But yeah, you not only do you get the 2 types of zombie villager in here, the ones for the desert biome and the one for the Savanna biome, which is incredible if you ask me. Look, it's a desert villager in a Savanna village that's also over the mineshaft and stuff. But also, we go to the north of here, we find something even rarer. That's right, it's the world's favorite structure, the desert well. Oh, I love these things so much. They're so delightful, so wonderful. Oh, love it so much. But more seriously than that, if you head to the north some more, you can see how only a little bit north of this village, there is another desert well. That's right, our favorite structure here to save the day. You need water in the middle of a desert. There's literally no other place you can find it. There's only one source of water in the desert biome. I can't find any others anywhere because deserts don't have water, as we know. It's only in these desert wells. Well-known fact. But more seriously, there's a desert village just to the north here, which is pretty cool to have a normal village. Two normal villages so close to your other one, but it gets better than this because just a little bit to the west of this village, there is another village. 4 villages in the same desert, which is wacky, as well as the desert temple, of course, and the desert well is the most important thing. And then just to the northwest of that, a villager outpost I actually have used myself, and actually I used this village myself too. I got the beds from it, and I also raided the blacksmith chest, which in this case is incredible. It comes with it looks like 7 pieces of obsidian and also 3 bits of bread. You can make an obsidian sandwich. I just like torturing the editor at this point, honestly. But yeah, you can make all those things and more. And then also, here's a pillager outpost, which is just the northwest of that. This is a part of the world which is just covered in villages. It's a non-stop onslaught of them all, because it is this really nice mixture of the savanna, the desert, the plains, which you always need if you want villages, if you want easy access to those sorts of things. But the fact that it has pillager outposts and the iceberg biome and the desert temples as well, by the way, because there's one just over here, is what makes it even better to me. By the way, just in case you've never seen a buried desert temple, here is one that is literally up to the orange bits. Like, if it was a little bit more, you'd assume it wasn't here. You could bury this all the way if you wanted to, or you could excavate it, and you could excavate the pillager outpost as well. Maybe do something farmy with it if you really want to. I know, you got fun options available, which I kind of like right here. You also got the fun option of another desert village with another desert temple nearby, but we could beat this dead bush all day. Villages obviously generate way more in savanna biomes that are next to plains biomes, which are next to deserts. These are the places you want to go if you want to find all that naturally generated loot. It's a well-known fact. However, if we go to another part of the seed, so this time you want to head to the south of the spawn, you want to head in this direction, in the positive Z direction, if you want to say it that way, for a few thousand blocks, I'll admit. You'll find something pretty similar over here. What you'll find is a really interesting blend of the, the plains biomes into the desert biomes, which of course have a lot of villages and stuff. We won't, talk about that too much here. But what you'll find is this really interesting desert, where as you can see, there are so many rivers crisscrossing through here that it creates a series of desert islands. To me, this is some incredible looking terrain generation that you don't see anywhere else. This is something I've never seen outside my own seed, just lots of individual little desert islands, and that's fun and nice by itself. But what makes it funner and perhaps nicer is this thing right here. This is something I've of course taken advantage of in my world. This is where I built my ice islands, but there is this really nice kind of like giant coral area right here in between two biomes that are pretty nice by themselves. And what's great about this is you find this super warm ocean, which is meant to be very far apart from other cold oceans, next to the regular oceans around it. But then of course there is a huge iceberg biome just over here, one which I've been kind of destroying my own little way. So here is something you might recognize from videos, but something I found to be really effective, because again, you can destroy this entire iceberg if you want to. Maybe I did that in Survival 2, or you can leave it, you can expand it. But the fact that you have this cold ocean and this warm ocean connected to each other in a way they shouldn't be, because of this nice river in between, this very rivery part of the world, the Riviera, if you want to call it that, which you shouldn't, but you can. I think that's kind of stunning by itself. There's obviously all the other things in between that make it worthwhile. There's so many villages around here that I've taken advantage of, but this is a part of the world I come to regularly for the warm ocean and the cold ocean being so close together, and also being surrounded by so many other great biomes such as this desert, savanna, etc. But just in case you want to see some really intense generation, just in case you want to see something really wacky, how about what I show you right now is some of the weirdest generation, which is found all the way out here, which is about 10,000 blocks. You'll want to go through the nether to get here if you're going to be setting up a spawn, of course. It's only about 1,200 blocks in the nether because of how that works, 8 to 1 generation. But what you're going to want to find is all the way out here at about 6,000 blocks on the x-axis and about minus 4,000 on the z-axis. You're going to find a jungle, which is nice by itself. It's a rare enough biome. Everyone always appreciates finding a jungle. It's a jungle surrounded entirely by this super snowy taiga, which is wonderful, except you're going to find in this snowy taiga the rarest type of village in terms of how often it spawns, which is of course the snowy taiga village. So you get one of these. One of them, by the way, is abandoned, which is incredible, combining two super rare things together, and you find this, an incredible find, which is just weird to look at for me personally. But you're going to find this, which is nice, which is rare, which is wonderful by itself. But if we go the other way from this instead, because finding one village is already quite nice, finding one of the rarest villages already very nice. But on the other side of this, we find jungle biome, one of the hottest biomes in the game, surrounded by snowy taiga biome, one of the coldest biomes in the game, surrounded again by mesa biome on the other side of it. And in the snowy taiga, there's a village here, by the way, so you can set up this amazing base of jungle on one side of you and mesa on the other, all while entirely being in one of the coldest biomes in the game. This shouldn't naturally generate. The only reason it does is because of a weird thing where technically the mesa is generating next to the jungle, and technically this is just a whole mess of biomes colliding. But this is entirely possible, and it gets better than this because in the mesa biome you're going to find a lot of these above ground mine shafts, like this thing right here, which is just, I don't know why, but I find this incredible to look at. It looks like a hashtag almost, right? But yeah, you can find above ground mine shafts, quite a few of them in fact. I found this useful. I did a live stream where I found 1,000 gold across this biome in just a couple of hours, because yeah, mesa biomes very good for gold. Who would have figured? I would have figured. That's who. Well, I mean, also anyone who knows about mesa biomes, but it's incredible just to see these 3 biomes combined in this place in a way that they really just shouldn't happen anywhere in the world. The snowy taiga biome is one that just doesn't show up very often according to my seed analysis, according to the results of what happens where, and it's really cool to see just the kind of end conclusion here. By the way, there's even more of these super rare villages which come with the super rare villagers, which of course you're going to want in some way, because who doesn't love these villagers with their nice little white caps, because they're in such a cold biome. The cats don't need the hats though, because cats are more hardcore than villagers is the key lesson to learn here. By the way, on the other end of things, just in case you really love jungles, I should mention this jungle, because of that weird jumping across the water thing, is actually insanely sized. Look at the size of the jungle here, but then look at the fact that it crosses the sea over here, a very small sea, ocean, but it crosses the miniature ocean, the sea, the lake, the whatever you want to call the dividing body, and then it just goes on forever over here, because the further away from spawn you get, the larger biomes tend to be, because they're not constrained so much, and in this case you see how this jungle just generates with such an insane scale that you could get lost in the middle of here and not find your way out if you don't have a rend distance as insane as we do, which is something I always find quite unique, right? Also, while you're in here, you can find some wacky jungle ravines, which of course, because of the average height of the jungle being so much higher, will create some of the deepest ravines you'll ever see in the game. Seriously, this is a ravine that generates from 95 blocks in the sky all the way down to 11 blocks, the lowest the ravine can be. That is 84 blocks that have been removed to make way for this ravine. It is just intense to look at from the inside here. It is just a marvel to see, and it again, just because Seed Sunday sometimes give you project ideas, would it be kind of fun? I think it definitely would, to be like to generate with like fill these blocks up even higher and make the ravine even more intense on the inside. Build it all the way to sky height if you want to. A sky height ravine, what a great idea. There's just something about it that to me just yells, this should be done. It's a stupid idea, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, because most great ideas are stupid ideas. Most bad ideas are also stupid ideas, and most stupid ideas are bad ideas, but that doesn't mean that most great ideas aren't stupid ideas. That logic makes sense, trust me. By the way, isn't there something beautiful about this village, which is surrounded by extreme mountains and also is haunted, and also has this perfect symmetry because 2 of the exact same buildings happen to generate opposite one another? I think there is a beauty to that personally, just seeing this surrounded by this. Maybe that's just me though. But yeah, this seed is one that is incredible. What the reason for that is hard for me to tell you. Maybe it's just the perfect way that it generated, because as we all know, there are some seeds that lead to certain reverberations and certain recursions of weird features. Maybe in this case, that same thing is true. But yeah, the thing about this seed being so incredible across all the Minecraft versions, all the Minecraft things, is something that to me always feels like it can't actually be true. It must be my biases shining through, right? Maybe you disagree and you think this is actually a pretty average seed, but to me, all the incredible things that we found, even this biome we're going through right now, this extreme mountain with the weird floating bits, it's very unique to see, it's very fun to check out, and it's something I figured all of you would want to see, and that's why I wanted to show you my everything seed. The seed that is literally everything, but also is figuratively everything as well. A seed which is so incredible that I just had to share it with all of you today, and a seed which I'm continually finding new amazing things on, and that I hope you continue to as well. So I hope you all enjoyed this week's Seed Sunday. It was one that was of course close to the heart, and I hope it was close to your heart, your eyes. I mean, your eyes are near your heart. The fastest way to a person's heart is through their eyeballs or their mouth hole, I believe is the expression. And I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope it led into one of those holes. And if it did, you can subscribe with notifications turned on to see more Seed Sundays and more videos from my Let's Play world, where of course, even now, we're still working on it. We're still making the world better every single day, every single week, and via our live streams, which I'm going to promote right now for some reason. So thank you very much for watching this video, because I'll see you in another one where I don't promote myself. Or maybe I promote myself more, who knows for sure. Check out my merch that I don't plug and you don't know where to find it. Yeah, go to a cat go.